Hello. Welcome to Life Out Loud. Let's grow together. We're going to be talking about validation and why we seek it. You don't have to be liked to have value. If that makes your chest tighten a little bit and your stomach turn, please don't scroll away from this video. I'm about to call out the sneaky ways that we keep shrinking ourselves for approval. More importantly, how to stop doing that. And no, I'm not going to tell you to delete your social media, hide under a rock, and go off the grid. But I am going to give you 4 low-key power moves that helped me go from anxious, approval obsessed, and emotionally exhausted to somebody who actually trusts their damn selves. But stick around because the last one is the deepest and most healing. I'm going to kind of give you my perspective about where my validation seeking has come from. As a child, I was really obsessed with how people saw me, and I didn't realize how much it had control over my life. If somebody had hinted to not liking me in any way, shape, or form, I would overthink everything. I would replay conversations in my head, and I would do whatever I could to earn that person's approval. I would be their friend. I would try to make them laugh. I would give them compliments just so they would compliment me back. Anything to feel accepted. I did this everywhere. School, work, friendships, and honestly, it was exhausting. Sometimes I would even create stories in my head, literal stories that I would end up believing like they were facts. I let those made up stories ruin real connections. I burned bridges, not because people hurt me, but because I was so desperate for validation that it sabotaged every relationship that I had when I was younger. Growing up, I felt very much like a loner, like no one really saw me. I craved attention so badly that it came off as like almost desperate. It really boiled down to me just wanting to feel wanted. Like I didn't feel wanted in any way. My family, relationships, even like school, in high school and middle school, I really just felt like nobody liked me. Like no one really saw me. The funny thing is that years later, when I've connected with friends from school and old church mates, they would describe me as something completely different than what I describe myself as. They would say that I was kind and sweet and I was a social butterfly. I was friends with everyone. Meanwhile, I literally convinced myself that I was this rejected, awkward, unlovable girl. This version of me, it was a story I created to make sense of my pain. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely tying into deeper abandonment stuff from when I was way younger, but that's a whole nother episode on its own. I think my point is that when we find ourselves like constantly chasing approval, constantly needing someone to validate us, it's usually because we are missing something within ourselves. The real work is learning how to give that love, that reassurance, and that worth to ourselves first. And that's the only way that we can kick the validation cycle to the curb. Enough about me and my story, though. I kind of want to just unpack this a little bit because I feel like some people might be thinking, no, Sasha, I don't give a shit what people think about me. I'm not seeking validation. Are you spiraling when someone leaves you on red? Do you go over text messages 5, 6 times like it's a fucking thesis before you send it? There are different ways that we kind of seek validation and not just maybe posting a photo or whatever else or caring about what someone thinks about you. But let's be honest, like how do you actually know that you're addicted to validation? And not like the cute, casual kind of like, oh, thanks for the compliment type of thing. I'm talking about the kind where your mood depends on whether or not, someone else approves of you. And if we rewrite a text message 12 times and we need 5 people to like co-sign on a post that we post before we post it, you say yes when you're screaming no inside, and you shrink your personality so other people feel comfortable around you. I can explain why we love the validation, but first I'm going to give you the first way to start kind of shifting from needing and craving validation. The first shift is, it might seem small, but it's definitely very deep. Ask yourself, would I still say and do this if nobody clapped? It's a small, short, easy question. This is your gut check moment. This is anytime you post something, text something, agree to something, or even open your mouth in a room to speak, would you still say it if nobody noticed, if nobody praised you? If the answer is no, just pause, and not like the teenagers use it. Pause, because that might mean you're performing and not expressing. And you can start catching these moments in real time. And that's how we stop approval chasing in its tracks. Not by being hard on ourselves or like getting down on ourselves, but by noticing that we're doing something for the applause instead of the alignment. We're not going to fix a lifetime of people pleasing overnight either. we don't expect perfection, but we can start by interrupting the pattern with one simple question. This shift is about catching yourself in the act. So before you shrink, before you shapeshift, before you sell yourself out for a little bit of approval, start with that. And when you feel the urge to say something or post something, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this for the validation? Does it align with me? Is it something that I want to do, or is it something I want to do because I want someone to like me for it? Basically, the one question is where you'll start unlearning things. Try it once today, try it when it matters, and you might be surprised by what you hear back. I'm going to touch a little bit on why we do this because I feel like that's very important to know and learn. Is why does it feel so good to fucking get validation? The actual science behind it, actual emotion behind it. You might know this already, who knows, but for those of you who don't know, validation hits the dopamine center in your brain. It literally hits it. When someone likes your posts, compliments you, agrees with your opinion, your brain releases dopamine. It's that feel-good chemical that's tied to reward and pleasure, sex. It's the same brain response that you get from eating chocolate. No wonder I love it. Getting a text from your crush or hitting the buy now button on your Amazon cart. Your brain's like, ooh, approval, pleasure, more of that, It's very addictive, and I think that social media really just takes this and amplifies it. Every comment, every view, every like, any tiny dopamine hit, we start chasing that approval, not just to feel accepted, but because our brain gets chemically rewarded for it. And that's why you check your phone after posting. And if it's low in responses and low in likes, you kind of start to feel some type of way. And you replay combos in your head and wonder, did they like me? Like, did I say something that was wrong? I wonder if they're going to be talking about me with the person that they see next. We overthink text messages and captions and emails, and really all to avoid disapproval. Your brain really starts associating external validation with emotional survival, and it's nuts. Now, if you're like me and you're like, social media didn't raise me, there are many different reasons that we build the need for acceptance and validation. And some of those things might have been, when you were younger, you were praised for your performance and not your presence, not just being and existing. You were praised for, getting good grades or doing the dishes. And you might have had to have been the peacemaker. This one reminds me a lot of my best friend. Maybe you were so focused on making things peaceful that you kind of shut yourself up and you didn't do anything that would go against the grain. Maybe you were emotionally ignored or shamed. Maybe you were bullied and rejected or excluded from things at school. No matter what the reason is, we're grown-ass adults still chasing gold stars and rebranded them as feedback and support and likes, comments, and it's not your fault. But it is our responsibility to start unlearning it. If you're still here, I know this is hitting somewhere. And the next shift might make you uncomfortable, but in the best way. So the shift 2 is to give yourself the validation that you seek first. Don't wait for someone else to do it. Don't wait for someone else to be like, oh my gosh, you did a good job. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Say it to yourself out loud, often. It's not cringy. It's literally you training your brain to feel safe with you. For example, I told myself today, I'm proud of you for showing up even when it was hard. This kind of ties into the last episode where we talked about giving yourself credit. That is something that definitely we have to do. The more that we let people decide who we are, it becomes harder to hear your own voice and you lose touch with your intuition. Your identity gets fuzzy. Your worth becomes conditional. That shit's so deep, bro. The part that most people don't realize is letting go of validation is not just emotional, it's literally neurological. You are literally retraining your brain to self-soothe instead of outsourcing your worth. We're all wired to want connection. It's human. But somewhere along the way, we start to confuse belonging with approval. And when we do that, we really stop showing up as who we are. We start performing as who we think we should be in order to be accepted. And really, that just holds you the fuck back. You abandon your own voice to be liked. You attract relationships that feel performative and not real and transactional. You feel drained, from constantly managing how everyone sees you. You never you never fully feel seen because you've spent so many hours trying to be a different person, be a different version of yourself that isn't actually you. The next one is going to sting, I think, but it has changed my entire relationship with myself. The third shift is making small rebellions against approval addiction, like breaking the cycle in tiny, doable ways. I'm going to give you some ideas. So, post something without obsessing over edits, without obsessing over mistakes. Say no and leave it there. No is actually a full sentence. You do not have to explain why you're saying no to anybody. This one is fucking hard for me. Let people misunderstand you without rushing to fix their opinion. Oh my God, that one's so hard for me. No lie. The most difficult thing for me. Let people misunderstand you without rushing to fix their opinion. These moments are fucking uncomfortable at first, but they really do build self-trust like nothing else. I want you to really sit with this last one. It's the one that I resisted the longest and needed the most. Inner child work. I don't know if you've heard of it. There's shadow work. There's tons of different types of work, but this is inner child work. And you get curious about where this has started and you ask yourself, when did I learn that being good equals being accepted? Whose approval in my childhood or even adulthood was I desperately seeking? Whose approval was I desperate for? What story am I still living out from childhood? Because most of us have something that we're still living through childhood. The goal isn't to blame anybody. Like, oh, it was my dad. No, that's not the goal. The goal is to understand it. And when you name the original wound, you can stop performing for love and start choosing it for yourself. And then you'll start to be yourself again through all of that. Again, this one is hard for me. It really fucking is. And I honestly, I'm working through it. Most of the shit that I share with you guys, I'm either actively working through in real time or I've already dragged myself through it, flipped it, and found a way to fucking turn it into something that actually serves me now. I'm thankful to be able to be here and share these things with you. I had 2 different validation conversations prior to this. So thank you for sticking around. Remember that your worth isn't up for debate and you don't need, an applause to be powerful. Do it messy, do it real, and do it for fucking you. Do it for you and nobody else. And if you've stayed all the way through, you are a real one. Share this message with someone who's still chasing gold stars. Screenshot it, tag me, send me your favorite shift. I want to know what landed with you guys, and let's keep healing out loud. This is a wrap. This episode is done. And until next time, stay growing.